How you doing, everybody? It is your guy Tazz the Angel, back with more car talk, good conversation you can ride to. And I just want to start like I always do. Thank you guys for the views, the shares, the likes, the comments, the downloads on Spotify, everything, the streams, everything. I appreciate you guys' support, and your donations are definitely helpful. I'm using a new phone today to record, and this was donated by one of my friends, brothers, and supporters. He has given me the most criticism out of everyone else. He's given me the most criticism. Almost every episode he tells me something that I can do to improve it, and I love that. And I told him just a few days ago how much I really appreciate that, because those are things that I don't see. I'm not looking as a viewer or a consumer. When I see this or when I do this, I'm doing it to send it out. So it helps me to get that criticism from people who are trying to take it in, the content, that is. So yeah, my friend, brother, Shadrach Benjamin, he and I have done a lot of collabs together. He's sent me instrumentals and I've written music to him, and he's continuing to support me and help me. And now my podcast, like I said, this is a new phone that I'm using. It's a more up-to-date phone than the one that I was previously using. A more modern software, more megapixels and everything. It's just an all-around better phone. And when he was giving me some criticism, I was telling him about the phone that I was using, and I told him that it was running on say 2 or 3 versions back of software, Android. So he was like, hey, I have one that I stopped using. I got an upgrade to another phone. I'm not going to use it anymore. You can have it. So he sent it to me, and today we're using it. I appreciate you, man. And everyone else who gives me criticism, who, like I said, donates, help, everything. I love that more and more this podcast is being built up by its consumers. From the ring light to the microphone that I'm using, to the phone that I'm now using, to the logo that was painted for me in the background right here. Everything is being built up by the consumers, and man, I love that, because that's what I want. We're a community. I don't want to just go do everything and be like, hey guys, what do you think? I want you all to be a part in this growing process, and I love that you are. So after all the rambling, today's topic is a continuation of last week, remembering Black families. And this episode is about my grandfathers. Last week was my grandmothers. This week is grandfathers. And I'll start with my mom's father, whose name was William Covington. If I'm not mistaken, it's William Henry, but that part is debatable. But William Covington. Now, I never had the honor of meeting him because he passed away when my mom was 7 years old. So the things that I'm going to speak on are things that I've heard about him through the years, from either my mom or my grandma. And those things are, he was the guy that when everyone got out of school, this is what my mom told me. She said that when she would get off the bus, he was so loved in the community that the children would run to him when they get off the bus, and my mom would literally have to fight through the crowd to get a hug from her dad, because he was surrounded by the neighborhood kids, and entertaining them, playing with them, asking about their day, things like that. So he was interacting with the neighborhood children so much that she would have to fight her way through to get her hug, because the other kids loved him so much. I've been told by both my mom and grandmom that I have a lot of his qualities, even to physics. Like, he was 6'5", I am now 6'5". I've literally gained another inch of height. Another inch of height. Y'all know me by now, just deal with it. I've gained another inch of height, literally within the last year, after 30 years old, because I'm 31 now. So in 2019, I was 6'4". Somewhere in 2020, I gained another inch of height, so I'm now 6'5", which is not uncommon, because one of my uncles actually grew 3 inches in height after the age of 30, if I'm not mistaken. So, may not even be done. But my grandfather, he was 6'5". He had a very giving heart, a big smile. People, adults and children, loved him, and those who didn't like him because they didn't like that they loved him, which is something I greatly relate to. Most of the people who don't like me either don't like me because they haven't gotten a chance to know me, or they don't like that they like me and they just don't want to. That is a real thing, by the way. Whew. I wonder if this will turn the camera around. If it, oh no, it took a picture. Okay. I just wanted to see, because if it did, I was going to turn the camera around to show you guys the like 4 inches of snow we have on the ground. But maybe towards the end of the podcast, I'll do that. Either way, he was a large man with a gentle spirit. When he was serious, all he had to do was change his tone and let you know. He didn't have to yell, scream, or shout. He would just speak in a more stern tone, and that would get the message across. And that is exactly how I am. I try my best to not yell. I don't like to raise my voice. I don't like to have to raise my voice. One of the criticisms that I've gotten during this podcast and on using the Voxer app with my friends is the low tone in which I speak. I've been the butt of many jokes because of my low tone. And even in the workplace, I've gotten that. I've been asked, it's been said to me that you're such a big guy, why do you speak so low? Excuse me. Or so softly? And I would tell them it's because I'm such a large guy. I can't be the loud guy. I can't. I don't have that luxury, because people are already intimidated just by my appearance. So then when not only am I the largest one in the room, when I'm also the loudest, I'm demanding a lot of attention, and I don't like that. So I don't like to do all that. My face is shining because I had to put some oil on my skin and in my beard, because again, it's like 19, 18 degrees here. It's been snowing for the greater part of the day. It's actually just slowed down within the last, I'd say 30 minutes maybe. 30, like I said, like 3-4 inches of snow out there. It's a lot going on. So couldn't come out here with the ashy face. Definitely couldn't come out here with the dry beard, because that cold air would literally make the hair snap. The cold air would make the hair snap. Okay, but anyway, back on topic. So, you know, a large man with, like I said, a soft, gentle spirit, was a great communicator. Yeah, great man, a respected man in his community, a large part of his community. You know, as I said, he was loved by the parents and the children. So those are the things that I was told about him. Hardworking. If I'm not mistaken, he was a military man, because I've seen a picture and I'm almost certain I remember seeing that his photo in his uniform with the hat that came like to a point. It was like the hat is made, it's like a point, wide in the middle, and then comes to a point again in the back. For the listeners, of course, you won't see that demonstration, but it's not like it was amazing for the viewers. But you know, a hardworking man, a loving man, a family man, man who was very slow to anger, led with love. So whenever I have been compared to him, I took great honor in that, especially when my mom compared me to him, because, you know, for children, period, the father is super important. We already know mom's important. This isn't when you give when you give to one, you're not taking away from the other. Fathers are very important, and in daughters' lives, fathers play a role to where if they either show the daughter what they want to find in a man or what they don't want to find in a man, right? You can have a father who's not really a father, or not a good one, and he could show the daughter what she doesn't want to experience with her companion, and on the flip side of that, he could show her exactly what she wants to see in a companion. So you know, fathers are very important. And for my mom to tell me the stories that she told me about him, and how, you know, people all around him loved him and gravitated towards him and respected him and all those things, for her to then compare me to him later on in life and tell me that I remind her of her father, like that's you know, that's an award. You know, that's an award for your mom to say, you remind me of my father. That's a reward, because of the type of father she had. Now, you know, other people, if they said that with a different experience with their father, it could be an insult. But with the father that she told me she had, for her to tell me that was an award. You know, it was very impactful for me. So those are the things that I think of when I think of William H. Covington. My dad's father is Claude. I don't know his middle name. I don't even want to lie about it. Claude Johnson. Claude Johnson is the son of Robert Johnson, who is known as the father of the Delta Blues, who's inspired people from B.B. King to Honey Boy Edwards to Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton actually redid Robert Johnson's songs, all of them, and he entitled the album, if I'm not mistaken, Me and Mr. Johnson. And this was some years ago. We've had festivals with Robert Johnson. There's a Robert Johnson Museum in Crystal Springs, Mississippi. A portion of Highway 55 in Mississippi is Robert Johnson's highway. There's a movie, a documentary kind of, but a 45-minute documentary on Robert Johnson with my family in it. My dad, it starts up with my dad singing in the background, and the name of it is Devil at the Crossroads. So definitely look that up, definitely stream that. Like I said, it's on Netflix. Go check that out. So Claude Johnson, he was the traditional, when I think of a traditional old school father, he was that. The one who was a provider, made sure things were taken care of, protected you, taught you. But that generation didn't really express emotions. And maybe it's because they didn't know how, because the generation before them didn't teach that to them, didn't give them that skill, because the generation before them was either slaves or were taught by slaves. So they didn't really have, the knowledge of, psychological knowledge of how to process things, emotions, and disengage and come back. They didn't know all those things, but they knew to show love to their family, and they knew that protecting and providing for a man, for a husband, for a father, that was number one. And he was that tenfold. He was that. He was a truck driver who saved up enough money to buy multiple trucks and own his own trucking company. Or is it a gravel company? No, trucking company, and then he got into moving gravel later. But he was an entrepreneur, and he supported my grandmother, his wife, Ernestine. Because remember, last episode I told you about how she went from being the woman who just watched kids to an actual babysitter, and she went from being the candy lady to having her own store, her own snack store. And he supported her in those things. So even though he didn't really have, the best communication when it came to expressing emotions, he always not only wanted to move forward, but he wanted to bring his family forward with him. So he was a hard-working man, an entrepreneur. As I said, he didn't want to just drive for this company, drive for that company. He wanted to do enough until he can get it on his own and do his own and grow his own, which I believe that I have that, and I hope I'm as successful at what I want to do and the things that I want to grow as he was with the things that he wanted to grow. as I got older, I was actually able to have a relationship with him. He had gotten dementia, so after Ernestine, his wife, passed, the woman Nora, who was taking care of her, was also taking care of him. But I would also go to his house and spend the night with him. I would go there. We would watch TV for different periods of time, depending on how tired he was. He would like he liked watching westerns and stuff like that. We would watch Sanford and Son sometimes too, but a lot of times he would just have the news on until he went to sleep. But I would just go down there and spend time with him, and just listen to him. And he was a very wise man. He didn't speak much, but it's because he was thinking. He was by far, he was no slouch. By far. And I always cherish the time that we had together, because he passed a few years after his wife did, after my grandma Ernestine did. But I enjoyed those times with him, just laughing and talking and just relaxing with him, Even there were times where we wouldn't even say words to each other. I would just, after, speaking, of course, the initial speaking, come in, hey, how you doing, Pop? Get all that done. But we would just sit, watch TV. And after a while, he'd just get up and go to his bathroom. Go to his bedroom. And after a while, I would have to help him there, but it was still the same thing. It was just the time together is what was important. You didn't even need words. It was just, you're here. You know what I mean? And towards his latter days, he told me thank you, and that was enough, because those types of men, the ones who don't really express emotion, they live by their actions and their word. When they say things, it's with a purpose. So when a man like that or a person like that shows gratitude, it doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Just because it's sincere, that's enough. That's enough. The sincerity. He was also a man of routine, which is something else that I believe I got from him. He's a man of routine. He, for a great while, he would eat one or two things on a daily basis. And at the same time, so around 12:15, he would go to the local Subway and get, I want to say it was like what they call it, like the cold cut combo or something like that. But he would get the same sandwich made the exact same way every day. And after he got that for a while and he wanted a little variety, he'd spice it up by going to KFC and getting a chicken pot pie. And he just rotated between those two. Those were his go-to lunches. A man of routine, and I am definitely that. Sometimes to a fault, honestly. But I'm learning to make it an advantage. So, it wasn't a super long one like last week wasn't. Also, and for my safety, because there's some weird people out there, I won't say what they are, but I actually got an allergy from my granddad. He and I are the only two in the family that have that. Claude Johnson. He and I are the only two who share that allergy. But again, I won't say what it is because, people are weird out here. So, I have been told and know through just living that I've pulled from both my grandfathers, even the one that I'd never met, which again, makes it even that much more of an honor for me to be told that, for me to be told that I reminded my mom of him, and, I never even had a chance to meet him. That lets you know that, energy it doesn't go away, man. It doesn't go away. Because for me to share those qualities and characteristics that he had, even though I had never met him a day in my life, that means something. There's purpose behind that. So I hope you guys enjoyed my memories of my grandfathers. Next week it will be parents. I will try my best to not ramble too much on that one because I've known them, all of my life, so there's way more to pull from. But to not even start, I will end before I stop. I also say this about Claude. Smooth dude. I'm talking about in his 70s, full head of hair. I'm talking about full fro. Walk around, gotta have the shades on. Oh, swag, okay? Suits. Driving I want to say he was driving a Lincoln. I could be wrong about that, but if it wasn't a Lincoln, it was a LeSabre. Either way, he was a man who appreciated quality items and the finer things. Dressed nice, cologne, nice car, gotta have the shades on. He was a smooth guy. I believe I got some of that from him too. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for listening, watching, streaming, downloading, sharing, liking, commenting. I appreciate all this donating. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because we're growing. We're getting better. We're doing more together, and I love that. This has been Tazz the Angel with Car Talk. Good conversation you can ride to. Yeah, have a great one.